We're gonna take this Mark 7 GTI engine and put it into this old Jetta
to make a modern day Fast and Furious car.
This is our final episode in our 5-part series sponsored by our friends at Liquimoly and Unitronic.
We got our car back from paint, but as you can see, it's not fully assembled. And the reason why is because we have about a week and a half to get this car finished. This car has to get finished for Alpine Volks Fair, which means we brought the car back here to put it together
so we can get this car back to paint to be fully assembled and look super dope with Paul's body kit on it. Paul's body.
Now, before we can get started with our engine, we have to put this new rack in.
Hey, nice rack.
The original car had power steering that was hydraulic. The new car has electromechanical, so we need a different power steering option. We're choosing a manual steering rack, so no power steering.
So this actually has a new rod from here up to the steering column. I already installed that. Laying under the bunch of pile of wires, it was kind of terrible.
Yeah, he didn't like it.
Yeah, you didn't miss much by not seeing it though.
Now, because we're swapping our car from a manual to an automatic, we needed to swap brake pedals. Manual brake pedal, and then we're putting in the automatic one, which Steve got from a junkyard. That was really nice of him.
Steve did the help of all helps, and Paul was just like, sucks to suck. Okay, so we have our engine sort of set where it's gonna go in the bay. We are prioritizing getting the engine installed and running. That way when, not if, but when we find a problem, we'll have a little bit more time to solve it. We were talking about doing the suspension and all that kind of around it, but I think getting this baby bolted up and running, priority numero uno. You could probably come down some more.
On now.
On down.
Oh, thanks. You can find one at shopdap.com. Buy one, Charles will bring it to your house and put it on you.
Yes, I will. I will sensually install that part too. Paul will come install your parts for you. Charles will help you get dressed for the day. I will celebrate when it starts and moves.
Well, it's swanging now.
Just like me.
Steve's screwing his in.
Yep, Steve and I are screwing together.
And
You're supporting.
I'm doing If you watched all this series, you probably have heard us mention Steve. He's helped with things like engineering the engine mount, help with the downpipe fab. Today, he's here helping, so you may see him in the back of a lot of shots, not saying a whole lot.
He's trying to act like he isn't here, like he's hiding.
He's like the Homer Simpson where he goes into the bush. That's him.
That's pretty big. We should probably do something about that shifter down. Just because you're struggling to get in the back door.
Don't invite me in the back door. This subframe I painted last night.
He did it himself.
All by myself I did it. I primed it, then I painted it, I cleaned it up.
He did a really great job painting it, but didn't tape off these screws, these bolts for the steering rack. So
you know, I don't need your judgment.
I'm not judging, I'm explaining to our friends at home. There's no judgment here. You're a loser. So we're just gonna run a thread chase or a tap through to get all the paint debris off.
I should have taped them, and he's right about that. These are new control arms. One of the other ones was bent, and they were bushings were all crusted up. So I got new control arms.
The cool part about this is something's actually happening, where so much of this whole project has felt like we've been doing nothing.
We might be in the wrong hole of this. That's why I think.
He said we might be in the wrong hole of this.
We're in the wrong hole.
I'm not sure what he means by that, but he did say it. The wrong engine mount hole?
Yeah, there's two.
Oh. We're not in any hole.
There's two.
Right?
We're in the wrong hole. I say the same thing every time I put it in the wrong hole that I can only say, I'm sorry.
Never put it in the wrong hole again. I got $5 on it happens today.
So this bolt has to come out, but it can't because it goes like that. By the way,
do you want to try and fix that real quick? Sorry.
Yeah, we got to take the engine, drop it down.
Son of a gun.
So my putting in the wrong hole is actually much worse this time than normally when you put in the wrong hole. I'm the worst.
Who hired him? Now you're getting leg day.
Watch my leg day, Steve. I'm always super...
We're going no sway bar on the front?
Ooh, we forgot the sway bar.
I feel like I asked like 30 seconds too late. Well, in this case, like 5 minutes.
It's not your fault, it's... yeah, we've gone in with this subframe. I think this is actually, no exaggeration, the fourth or fifth time. I can't tell you.
It's fourth.
What's next is hopefully we'll finish putting this subframe in. I'll tell you this, we got a lot of practice at it. We're pretty damn good at it.
Come on up.
Come on.
I'm gonna just hope and pray here. Words. Here is all the words. Words. Yeah, did that work? Did you have audio? Are you gonna answer my question? Should I keep talking so you can't? We're gonna put our axles in. Paul's gonna do that side. He's touching his ear for some weird reason. I don't know what's up with that, but he was doing it, so that's fun. We're gonna put our axles in, then we're gonna try and get the car to the point where we can drive it on the lift.
We have DSG, oil leaking. We've got our engine and transmission installed, and then wire this thing up and drive it. If you watched episode 2, you probably saw us deal with the inner axle. As you can see, this is it right here. Clearance is still snug, to say the least. Hopefully, under hard acceleration, it doesn't. Now, because this car is old and busted, we are gonna be replacing the heater core. We also would like to have air conditioning one day, so Steve recommended using the Mark II evaporator core. That way we can make custom fitted lines. He's done this in the past, so he can help me because I don't know what I'm doing. Then we'll do air conditioning later. Thank you. I think I have it. So here we have our heater box. We're gonna disassemble this to fix our doors. If you take a look inside here, this splits off. And this, when you turn all the operations inside your thing, you can see it moves these doors. So somebody already attempted to fix these. So in the factory, this metal tape is not on there, and this is just foam, and all the foam blows out, and then the air just blows straight through here. That's why when that happens, your heat or air conditioning doesn't work, because it's not able to direct the airflow, because it's just blowing straight through all these places that it's supposed to be basically all wall. Gonna fix it. We didn't know that it had already been fixed poorly, but fixed. And there we go. And you can see how icky and gooky inside it is. It does smell weird. That's why your air conditioning smells when you have an old car, because it's old and weird. Like Charles. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. Yes, I am. Like this. Boop. And we took off the old one, which is only on one side. It was now wrapped on both sides. Really well done. No holes uncovered. Charles actually did a video on this, I think, on his Mark III a million years ago. So you can watch that video, because we're not going to show you how to do it here. Okay, so our heater box is together. We're going to put it back in our car, bolt it up so we can mess with our dash more later.
Obviously sitting in the Mark III, going through a lot of the factory Mark III wiring, still deleting more things that we know we're not going to need. Let's be honest. This part is not super exciting, so we won't bore you with watching it, but I still gotta do the work. And I won't tell Paul about all the hack work that I'm doing on it, because I don't care about this car. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna do a good job. Why don't you? About what we're doing on the internet. Do that.
We're gonna try to start this thing. This is the first time we've re-hooked up the battery. So Charles rewired the stuff back there. He's gonna pop the circuit breaker, which should power our stuff. Nothing's on fire right now. So I call that a win. I think that's a win. Okay.
Key on, key in, so that's our first signal.
That's our first power up. First time. That was unbelievable.
No joke. I'm shocked. Like, it's not that I doubt our ability.
But we everything up.
Nothing has gone our way, and I'm floored that the car started.
How about that? I mean,
this might be the best feeling that I've had about this car for this entire effing project.
We are gonna get this car started again and try to put it in gear and see if it runs. We got our downpipe installed. Last time we tried to actually get this car in gear, it didn't go because the DSG was in component protection, which means it said, We put it in gear, didn't go. Ian, our buddy at Reflect Tuning, flashed this thing to remove that, or at least he claims that that's gonna be the case. We're about to find out right now if Ian's right.
Smoking under the dash.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's something up here. Oh, it is one of those wires. right, we got a problem. It's hot. It's from the car, so it's in the Mark III harness.
We have eliminated that wire from the vehicle and it no longer is an issue. We fixed the car. So I'm putting this cooling system together so we can run this motherfather. I'm not tired at all. I am excited.
I'm a bit on the sleepy side. That's all right. We got work to do.
You're not gonna be sleeping when this bad boy's roaring through the parking lot.
Roaring through the parking lot. Roar.
I'm definitely gonna be sleeping. Paul's gonna be driving it.
You said that when we were finishing this car that you wouldn't have rusty
gross clamps. I don't got time for that right now. Ain't nobody got time for that. Right now I have to rotate these rusty gross clamps because they're rubbing. I only use the gross clamps where you can't see them. So when you come see this car live, you won't notice that we have disgusting clamps on the bottom.
Yeah, this video's coming out after Helen.
Yeah, so if you saw this, joke's on you, it had shitty clamps on it. Look at how nice that is. They're disgusting. One of the things you can do to make your engine bay look a lot better when you have an old crusty car is this is the old coolant bottle. If you look like in the light, you can see it's all like gross inside, not to mention the discoloration. This is a fancy new bottle. It's not particularly expensive, but you put one of these fellers in your car, I'll tell you what, that sucker's gonna be real nice.
I'm putting these hardwares right here. They go to a thing. Don't use them in random places.
Bring your cars to DAP Repair.
Yeah, they'll fabricate your whole engine. You want to put a Mark 7 powertrain in Mark 3? Give your man Paulie D a call.
No,
he'll come to your house and do it. I'll bring you a t-shirt. Paul, do your engine swap.
I'll do an engine swap for you when Charles weaves you a t-shirt by hand.
I think me weaving a t-shirt by hand is far more likely to happen.
We're filling this with water. Our last time we did this didn't go so well. Sorry.
Oh, that better be distilled water.
Yeah, it's distilled. It's distilled in a Rain-X bottle. In case you're curious if we're using distilleried water, we are. Okay.
All right, here's the things I need to make sure that I just say for my own feeling better about what you're about to do. Paul's driving this thing, not me. Your steering wheel is not bolted. The steering column is not bolted to anything. You have no brake assist. The brakes haven't been used in months. Triple the horsepower the car's supposed to have.
Just like that. Just like that. My project is finished.
Headlight.
Start clutching, right? Or it's our maiden voyage.
This is big. This is the first time this car's ran under a 2-liter turbo out of a GTI. And Paul, it's pretty cool. How you like that steering column? Don't try this at home, kids. It's real dumb. All the money.
All right, we're gonna go into drive. All right, we're driving. I got the wires underneath my feet. Can't even hit the gas pedal.
Just gonna gas it.
I think go gas it. That's faster than I would go. It did it. That's pretty cool.
Woo! I tell you what, you're gonna need it, Bobby. It's pretty dangerous to drive. This thing's a death wish. This is way too dangerous to be taking hot laps. The steering column is not attached to.
Steering column and show us.
This is attached to hopes and dreams. That's what this is attached to.
Okay, that's pretty dope. Pretty dope. And look, there's no puddle of fluid on the ground.
A terrifying experience. I was just trying to not crash the entire time. It has no boost because it has no boost pipes yet. And I was just trying to not die. So the wiring alone is just like.
So after days of work, we finally got this car running and driving. The next day, Charles, Steve, and I came back to knock out everything needed to get this car sent back to paint. To start the day, Charles was working on the wiring under the dash, and I was working on the wiring in the engine bay. I finally got the opportunity to clean up the wiring and tape the harness to make the engine bay look gorgeous. So now we're on to headlights, and the Fast and Furious car had these headlights, but these are golf headlights. So we also had to get a new hood. Originally when I set out on this project, I was gonna use these original equipment Hellas. These belong to my friend Phil, who has unfortunately passed from cancer. I wanted to use these lights because they are actual Hella lights and they belong to a close friend of mine. Unfortunately, they need to be completely overhauled before they can be used, so we didn't have time to do that. These tabs apparently break off, which some of them are already broken, and there are pieces when I just picked it up that literally were falling off of them as I picked them up. The power just went out. That's unbelievable. These lenses are gonna be body match painted white, so the plugs are different, but also they're Euro headlights, so they don't mount right. So we have to modify that stuff to make the mounts in the car on top of it. We gotta cut some stuff, we gotta modify some stuff, and then we'll be good.
I've been sitting in this car for 2 days dealing with this bullshit interior wiring is what I've been doing, and I'm tired of it, and it smells in here, and I'm uncomfortable because I've been hunched over like that hunchback guy from that college that people go to. That's what you want to hear? There you go. He needs a hug. Give him a hug. What's that?
I said you need a hug. He's been doing that for a while.
I've literally been sitting here for 2 days.
I've been doing this stuff. He's been doing that stuff. Right here and right here we have Canbus converters. One of them is for the RPM. One of them is for the DSG box. It's gonna give us a reverse signal. They take the Canbus system, which new cars operate on, and convert this stuff into signals that an older car can actually use to have RPM in our tach, and then our reverse light when we actually operate our reverse light in our DSG. Also, I've been working for 2 days to make the, yeah, he's still gone. I've been working for 2 days to make this dash look a lot better because I've been working really hard. Can converters actually come from Veer. They also are the people who do our Haldex modules. We offer this stuff on our site, and they make good stuff for conversions just like this, or Haldex controllers and stuff like that. So there's a sweep first.
Ooh.
And then we have a fuel gauge and the RPM gauge. This side we're still working on this half of the instrument cluster. Don't look over there. Don't look.
How much more stuff is there?
There's so much stuff. There's so much. Back. He's back. Hey.
Oh, hey. Talk about how much time you spent working on the dash.
No, I was telling them how you did it. This is carpet jute. This goes underneath the carpet in your car to make sure you're not standing directly on the metal floor inside your car. So obviously the one that came out of this car was disgusting and old and like completely deteriorated. Also why old cars smell like complete dog shit inside is because all this absorbs like all the dirt and dust and everything else. So all that got chucked in the trash. We're cutting new pieces. My hand got
Did you pass kindergarten? You missed the line.
After my second, one, I'm about a quarter to a half an inch off. After my second one, I veered off on line, and my hand strength was waning, so I couldn't get it back on track. So you want to build yourself a nice old project car? Great. Expect to do everything. Now, we're gonna put our headliner in our car.
We're going right through the windshield, which I have now a policy of windshield out on every project because this is awesome.
This headliner, in case you missed me watching me do it, is I did it.
I want all the credit.
I want credit because there's video evidence that I did this.
How about we stop patting ourselves on the back?
Sorry, I hurt my shoulder, patting myself on the back. I tried to make this entire project as DIY as possible so that you can know.
Don't tell them they can do this at home.
You can do this.
No, they don't have to do it. They're gonna call you and you're gonna come do it for them at their house in 2 days. Start to finish, he'll be done. He'll even find the car for you.
If overnight shipping is like $200, what does Paul come to your house?
Free. It's free with purchase.
Oh yeah, this isn't even Jesse's car. This is Jesse's.
Jesse's dad's car. Everybody wrongly says that this is Jesse's car. This is not Jesse's car. First of all, this is Johnny Tran's motherfucking car to begin with.
That's cool. Let's put a seat in. Like a passenger princess?
You look like you'd lose to Johnny Tran like a little bitch. In my opinion, these bolsters are too wide.
When you bought them, you saw the dimensions.
You think I was looking at dimensions? Price shopping and looking at pictures like a like an 8-year-old looking through a toy catalog. You think I'm looking at dimensions? What do you think, I'm an adult making wise decisions? Absolutely not. So a really important pro tip when you have a big project like this is take bags like this, organize, tag things, so you know where all these things go. You know this is for your fender liner, and then this is all the stuff related to it. So then when you need stuff and you can't find it, you just rummage through all the stuff you didn't tag. When you can't lay on the car itself because you're gonna have a body seam stabbing you in the back, twist your back like this. This car. First time driving the car with an semi-intact interior, so I can actually not feel like I'm gonna die while driving this car. Still no ability for boost, no intercooler.
There's a little wire dragging on the bottom, that's okay. We'll handle that in a bit. It's less... less fun than yesterday.
Manual steering, FTW.
Floor it.
Because I've spent so much money on this car, we need to do something on the brakes and we're out of budget. So, to go along with the theme for the movie, we got these guys that will give us the appearance that we have brakes. So we can just put those on and then we put our wheels on. Yeah. They might make a little noise, but that's all right. I'm just around. We are actually upgrading to these brakes and these calipers to give us better stopping. These are the brakes that would have come on a G60 Corrado with larger brake calipers and larger diameter rotors. Now most of these cars would have had drum brakes in the rear, but this car already had rear discs. So we're not upgrading them, but we are replacing them with fresh ones, including red stuff pads and new bearings. And the reason I'm replacing those bearings is because I don't want to be left on the side of the road with this old car, or I'm trying to avoid being left on the side of the road with this old car. If you remember, this car had two different sets of coilovers on the front and rear of the car. That's because it was built using parts found in a dumpster behind a Love's Quick Stop. So our boys over at Solowerks sent us a fresh set of Mark III coilovers. Then the car went over to our shop, DAP Repair, to get the coilovers installed because I didn't have any more time. And no, DAP Repair will not build you one of these cars. Stop calling us. En serio. In typical project fashion, as you can see, these were not the brakes that we showed that we were about to install because those were wrong. In projects like this, everything goes wrong, and so those brakes were wrong. Luckily, Steve was able to hook us up with these. Steve has everything. On top of his engineering skill, he's also a hoarder. Don't worry about having friends like Steve. Go get your own Steve. This car is 4 days away from needing to be in Helen, Georgia for Alpine Volks Fair, and it currently is overheating. After some diagnosis, I identified that the electromechanical thermostat was not opening, and the ECM wasn't doing anything about it at all. The easiest way to fix this was to use the thermostat from a Passat 1.8T that bolts right up, but uses a standard thermostat. Duncan over at our shop chucked it in there, and this solved our overheating issue just in time for the windshield guy to reinstall a beautiful new windshield. Now that our windshield is installed in the car, we need to get a rear view mirror, and instead of the boring old flippy guy from a Mark III or an older car, we have this guy. And this is an OEM accessory mirror, which is edgeless and has home link buttons, and it's auto dimming. That's what the sensor at the front here does. Now to make that function, all you need is this little dangly wire, which we have now run down, and then you have our base plate from the newer ones you glue to the windshield, and then this guy will just boop, pop right on. This is a steel wheel that was originally on the car. Now because we've upgraded our brakes, they no longer fit. Now the original car in the movie had 19-inch wheels. Now 19s are enormous for a Mark III, and I'm not building a replica car, so I wanted to put different wheels on it. Now the folks over at 1552 have sent us two different wheel options that we have in 4x100, which is our bolt pattern. We have the Tarmacs and then the Tarmac Evo. They're both a little different. This one's a little more period correct. Tarmacs are kind of a classic 1552 design. Which one do you think we should put on the car? Now right now, I'm not sure which one of these wheels I'm gonna go with, but I can tell you this, when this car comes off the trailer back for paint, it's gonna be way different. This is the first time in months that this Jetta has looked like a full, complete car. Right now is Thursday at 2 p.m. in Charlotte, North Carolina. This car has to be in Helen, Georgia to get wrapped tomorrow, Friday at 10 a.m. As you can see, we only have part of the body kit on it. This is all we could get done given the short time frame we had to work with. Even though it looks mostly complete, there are a million details that need to be finished before this car can leave for the show. Lucky for me, some of the people who work at DAP rallied to get this car presentable for the show. Huge thanks to Curtis, Alec, Daniel, Taryn, Duncan, a little bit of Steve, and almost no Charles because he abandoned me in my time of need the most. Just kidding, Charles had to get to Helen for something. It was a mad dash for about 10 hours straight to get this car fully buttoned up for the show. Finally, at 1 a.m., we got the car loaded onto the trailer. So we're down to the wire to get our car finished. The guys at Obsessed Garage were kind enough to contact the people renting this place to let us use it so that the guys at Rap Guy Studio could put the vinyl on the car and have a clean environment to do so because they wanted, it to look good. Nick from Rap Guy Studio began by laying out all the vinyl. He then got started to transform our regular old Jetta into a modern day Fast and Furious car. The original Fast and Furious film was maybe the most important car movie ever. Originally, the screenplay for the movie was titled Redline, which was later changed. I picked up that fact from Craig Lieberman, who was a technical advisor on a variety of Fast and Furious movies. He has a YouTube channel sharing a ton of interesting stories around the cars from the movies. The Supra and Maxima from the first film were actually his personal cars. Since the first movie had no budget at all, the cars were all ones owned and built by individual enthusiasts, then rented from the owners to be used in the movie. The Jetta belonged to Scott Centra, who worked for the body kit manufacturer Wings West. After they picked the cars to be in the movies, they had to make replicas to be used in various places so the original cars didn't get destroyed. In fact, those replica cars are the reason the Jetta had no brake calipers in the race against Johnny Tran. The original Jetta had a legitimate big brake kit on it, and to avoid the visual difference when using the replica car, they would bolt on fake brake covers to give them a similar look. One really cool fact that I picked up from Craig was that the real cars that belonged to Dom's crew didn't originally have the rocket people on them. The Rocket Man theme was added to make all the cars in Dom's crew stand out from the other cars in the movie. If you look at the original Jetta in the movie, it had a red and white interior, which didn't really go with the exterior blue and white color scheme. Back in those days, splash and tear style graphics were very popular on cars. Scott's Jetta originally had a black and red tear on the side, which can be seen from its feature in the magazine Super Street. So because Dom's crew had to have a theme, they were forced to put the laser-fingered rocket people all over them.
So Nick's almost done with the wrap, and we just want to talk about wheels. He's put on the 1552 logo, which is nicely arched over that fender there, and the 1552 wheels are down there. Tarmacs, one of my favorite wheels from them. I also like Turbo Max. And we do have a little bit of a mismatch in the color of the white on the paint versus the wheels, and something that we might look at color matching in the future. Also, obviously, we got our wrap now in the front. This is similar to the Fast and Furious setup, obviously different logos, similar placement to kind of give this same aesthetic. We got our green laser. I actually think it adds like a nice touch of different color since everything's kind of one color. And I'm a little disappointed we couldn't get the spoiler finished up for this. It's gonna need some body work before we get it on here, which would have, I think, fully transformed it, along with our emblem that's missing out the back, you see. But we did get this piece that is painted in between, which I think changes the rear aesthetic. And under our hood, beautiful engine bay. So obviously we have our beautiful Mark 7 intake that we were able to make fit, I think, pretty perfectly in my opinion. We got a fresh new coolant bottle. Steve hooked us up. He had a brake reservoir because ours was kind of yucky. ECM, fuse box, also factory-ish mounting location. In my opinion, this engine bay looks pretty awesome. My goal with this look of the whole engine bay was to keep it like it belonged there. And I think, in my opinion, we knocked it out of the park. So as you saw in our previous episodes, I painted a lot of interior trim parts to make this car look better. So we can take a look at our door panels. Before they were crusty and old, now they are not. Interior-wise, I got a new Sparco steering wheel to match the one in the movie. I also got these sweet Sparco seats. These are racing car seats. They do recline though, so if you want to take a nap, you can do that. But they're not super cushy and padded, but they are seats. I think the interior of this car looks a bajillion times better than that picnic blanket shit that was about to fall out the window as soon as you rolled the windows down.
Huge shout out to Obsessed Garage for letting us use their facility. If you're not familiar, Obsessed Garage has a YouTube channel and a business where they do amazing garage setups for people who are looking for something unique for their home or business. Now that the Jetta is done being wrapped, we're off to the DAP Humble Mechanic meet and our very first test drive. First drive of our Mark III. This is the first time I've actually driven this car more than like 100 yards. You know,
rattle.
It's a little rattly. It's It's an engine swap car with some pretty solid mounts in it. When it upshifts and you're at low RPM, the whole car rattles like like that.
This flip out.
This is my sweet AliExpress CarPlay radio because I'm bougie and I don't want to have no CarPlay. So we can't send too hard yet because I'm afraid of breaking the car before our meet.
Yeah.
The transmission was a little bit funky before. We think now maybe it might be related to the brake pedal, so it's like not going sometimes. I think it's just because there's no signals telling it when you're off the brakes.
I smell something, dude. Those brakes? I think that's brakes.
It could be, who knows what it is, honestly. Doesn't matter.
If we crash, it's fine. We're not going that fast. Uh-oh.
Oh, fire. Someone's on fire. It's not us. We're not on. There is a fire, but it's not our car. We're gonna call this a gigantic win. Someone else's car is on fire.
Fire truck might be turned around.
With our electrical work, who knows? We've driven now like 5 miles with this car.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed. It's not broken yet. Every year, Charles and I have a meet at Alpine Volks Fair for everyone to come hang out with like-minded enthusiasts. Most of the people here would have seen episode 1 through 4 of this project series and were expecting to see it for the first time. So we slapped a GoPro under the hood and got people's first reactions.
Yeah, this is so cool. Everything in down there, that's height down there.
They did a good job.
But this thing rips. This is
You see where they shaved it? It put the intercooler. They only shaved off what they had. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is good. Look at how clean the engine bar. You don't have any extra wires or nothing like that. Just bam. They wanted to make it look like the Fast and Furious car.
The fact that it's DSG too is just.
I know, it's fire, right?
Can't wait to watch the rest of the
Yeah,
videos.
the rest of the series. It looks back. It's still. I found it. If you want to ask him. Look, they're taking it might be a time lapse on it. Or just people talking about how that's not supposed to be in there. Kiss it. Should I, the GoPro or the engine?
Yeah, GoPro.
Both. You kiss the GoPro, Mike. I'm thinking it's smooth. That's wild.
Oh, that's a custom made trans mount right there. Yeah, it's all on video. Oh, is it? Yeah, they put this whole thing on YouTube, right?
Something. My wife has.
I'm distracted by all the overspray everywhere. Come on, Jesse.
We're sorry we let that dude down with the overspray, but we will be fixing that later. Huge thanks to everybody who came out to check out the car during the show. But for now, it's time to get this thing back to the shop so we can get this car finished. Last you saw this car, the body kit was not completely installed properly on the car. So I had to spend a bunch of time to make it fit properly and then installed it on our vehicle. Because we rushed this project, the body kit got painted prematurely before it was fitted to the car. During the fitting process, because of the modification required, it destroyed the paint on the car. Because we don't want to make you, the audience, wait a long time for this last video, we're putting it out with the car not completed. We will then go back later and finish the paint, but now we're gonna drive this thing. When I started this journey, I set out to build a Fast and Furious Jetta that the VW community could be proud of. One that wasn't just a showpiece,
but a car that any die-hard VW lover would be thrilled to rip around in. Sure, on the outside, this car looks like any other Fast and Furious tribute car, but under the hood lies what's really interesting. A powerful drivetrain cleanly swapped from a modern car makes this car reliable and fun to drive. To get this car finished up, we have a bunch of things left to do. We have to start by sending the car back to Andre for more paint work. We then have to fix some drivability concerns. We have some vinyl that needs to be adjusted. And we also have to look at air conditioning and adding neons. We will have more episodes coming with our Jetta once it's complete. For this part of the journey, we've shown that with hundreds of hours of work, more costs than I dare to add up, and plenty of help from friends, you can build something pretty awesome. We will be bringing this car to more automotive events, so be sure to leave in the comments what show you think we should bring it to, that you'd like to check it out in person. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Liquimoly and Unitronic, as well as all the other vendors we worked with in the process of this build.